The Denver Broncos got a win in their first preseason game. And in fact, a win with ease. But are there still reasons to worry about the 2025 Denver Broncos? Let's talk about it with the good, the bad, and the ugly of game one coming up next. All right, Broncos country, here we are. The Monday off of preseason game number one, where they were in San Francisco, which is fun to say, home of Super Bowl 60. 10 years ago, they won Super Bowl 50 on that same field. Let's see what February looks like. But can't get to February without figuring some things out after the first preseason game. And I said it, they won 30-9. You look at the box score and you're like, what the heck's there to talk about with bad and ugly? There's plenty to go around. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Why don't we start with the good? Because it didn't come from any of the players we wanted it to come from. The good came from like Jarrett Stidham, Sam Ehlinger, Chris Abrams-Drain, Karan Reed. We're talking about depth pieces that made some big plays. You like to see it, but you certainly would love to see the starters do some of that. The second team was outstanding. Jarrett Stidham played a hell of a football game. Now, if Jarrett Stidham ever had to play extended amount of time in the regular season, the season's completely over. But for what we saw Saturday night against the Niners backups, Jarrett looked just fine. Jarrett nor Sam are going to come in here and bring the Broncos where Bo can bring them. I hope you see that. And if you don't, we're not watching the same football. I've seen some media reports about Sam making a couple good throws at camp. Sam is not it. There's not a backup quarterback competition. It's Bo. There's a huge drop-off. Then it's Jarrett. There's another drop-off. And then it's Sam. But the backups were good. Jarrett did his thing. Couple nice runs, kind of staying out of bounds. You better think twice about that, Jarrett. There's going to be a defensive lineman waiting to kill your ass if you keep pretending that you're going to go out of bounds. But I like that. Seeing the backups play. How about Blake Watson? There's some good right there. That dude juked a San Francisco 49er player out of his jockstrap. I can't remember the Niners player's name because I don't give a you-know-what about the Niners depth pieces. But he juked this dude out so hard that when the guy, he didn't like fall all the way to the ground. He was like in a squat position. He like turned his head around to figure out what the hell just happened to him. And Blake Watson was already 4 yards down the field. Blake showed a couple of good things in the running game. He is a converted wide receiver, so you know what he can do in the passing game, and you saw a little bit of that too. How about Tyler Bidet? Couple good runs from Tyler Bidet, who seems to be in a competition with Jaleel McLaughlin for RB3. Or they're both, I don't know if you look at them as like RB3, but they're both fighting to make the last roster spot in that running back room. And I didn't see much out of Jaleel. What'd Jaleel do? Is there a play that sticks out? Jaleel did have a play called back. Pat Bryant owes Jaleel McLaughlin a Happy Meal or something today, because the one play Jaleel made, holding, number 13, coming back, the rookie got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, did not count. So I saw it, but nobody's going to remember it because it's not going to live in the box score. I don't know if you've joined on the radio side of things. I've said it here a couple times too. I'm pretty much done with the Jaleel McLaughlin experiment. I don't need to see it anymore. Wish him luck. It's probably best for him to get a new change of scenery and go do something else for another team. I saw enough from Jaleel last year where he got out into space where his speed could be utilized and he couldn't make the first man miss, let alone the second. So I'm intrigued by Tyler Bidet. If you could keep Jaleel on the practice squad, that'd be great. You won't be able to. Someone will poach him. So I liked what I saw out of Tyler Bidet. I think he's going to make that conversation more interesting as we get further and further into camp. Audric Estime, who's certainly on the outside looking in here, he had a good catch. He also had a decent run that was called back because of a hold on big old Frank Crum. He's number 63, and he's got beautiful blonde locks hanging out of his helmet. That's how you'll recognize Frank Crum. But hey, life's not fair, right? You have a good run and it gets called back by a hold. Well, then that means it didn't happen. So Audric Estime and Jaleel McLaughlin kind of getting the short end of the stick right there. So that's the good. It's Jarrett Stidham. It's Sam Ehlinger. It's Blake Watson in a couple instances. It's Chris Abrams-Drain. It's these backup depth pieces that actually played some good football. And that's it. I'm done with the good. I don't know if you have any others. You want to leave a comment? Maybe I missed something or we saw it differently. I'd love to hear from you. But the good end is the good list is over. That's it. It's about the backups. The bad is Sean Payton. I didn't like Sean Payton's play calling, and I did not like Sean Payton's idea or scheme going into this game. You know how many J.K. Dobbins carries there were? The same that I had and the same that Dan had. Zero. What are we doing? J.K. Dobbins, your new piece, your new toy, had 0 carries? And I know you're trying to feature R.J. Harvey, but this is my worry about Sean. He can't multitask when it comes to running backs. He can't use the best of R.J. Harvey and then the best of J.K. Dobbins and make them one to have a running game or production at the running back spot. And Sean needs just as much practice calling plays, evenly splitting run opportunities between the two running backs, J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey, and he completely ignored that in the first game. Now, I'm not going to freak out too much because there's a second game that really matters, and I'll give him some benefit of the doubt. But you know it's been over 30 games since Sean Payton had a 100-yard rusher? How is that even possible? You're this offensive genius. All right, yeah, you can throw the ball all over the field. What about running the ball? It's been you, Sean, that has told us in the media for 2 straight years that the best friend of a young quarterback is a defense and a running game. Well, check on the first one because VJ's got your back. The running game? I didn't like what I seen. I did not like what I seen. And now you look at the box score and the splits are even. Off the top of my head, I think it was 36 passes and 34 rushes. When Bo was in, it was 11 passing attempts to just 8 rushing attempts. It's not a huge discrepancy, but does that turn into 22-16, so on and so forth, right? Like, it's going to look bad at the end of the game if that's the splits. And I don't like that. I think one of the biggest questions, if not the biggest question going into this season, is Sean Payton committing to actually running the football. And I get told all the time. And look, I get told all the time by my radio partner, Cecil Lammey, and he's right about this. Actually, Andrew Mason, shout out to him. He gave us the numbers on the radio show. Sean Payton had a top 7 rushing attack in 5 of the, 14 years, 15 years in New Orleans, and then a top 10 passing attack in 10 other years. So they overlap twice, I think, but he can do both. But does it have to be perfect? Do you need Alvin Kamara exact replica to make it work? You need a Darren Sproles exact replica to make it work, a Mark Ingram exact replica to make it work. You're not going to get everything you need, Sean. You're supposed to be this offensive genius. I've yet to see it when it comes to the running game. So the bad was you, Sean. Your plan, maybe it was vanilla. And maybe I'll have to eat these words come week 1 if you're running all over the Tennessee Titans. I'd gladly do it. But I haven't had to eat any of my words when it comes to Sean and running the football because he just hasn't been good enough. That's been the bad. I have one more for the bad. Where the hell was Evan Ingram? Evan Ingram, what are you doing, man? I've watched 3 weeks of practice now, and you've been a stud, a star out there. And again, maybe it was by design. You don't want to play your hand too early. I can appreciate that. But I'd like to see Bo Nix and Evan Ingram starting to work on their connection and chemistry before the Tennessee game week 1. Maybe that will come in the second preseason game against the Cardinals. But Evan Ingram was supposed to be this joker. I didn't see any joker type of plays on Saturday night. Not sure if you did either. So that's the bad. How about the ugly? Well, I think you probably guessed this one, right? The ugly is the first team offense and the first team defense. The first team defense, we can start there. Now, they technically, the 9 points is another part of the bad, a safety on Bo. That's middle school stuff, Bo. You've got to be better than that. You're in the tackle box. No one's really near you. Get out and then throw it away. But the defense, I'll start there, then I want to go back to the offense. The defense started to figure some stuff out. You saw Nick Bonito really go nuts on one specific series where he had a sack. He made Mac Jones spin back into the arms of JFM, who then got the sack. And then on 3rd and long, pressure made Mac throw it away. That series was outstanding. But go back and look at the one San Francisco 49ers touchdown. You know who they ran at? They ran at number 15. You know what 15's biggest weakness is? Stopping the run. And Nick is great pinning his ears back and bull rushing and getting by guys. In that specific play where his side gave up the touchdown, it's one-on-one with that left tackle, and that left tackle is just picking him up underneath the shoulder pads and moving him backwards. You got to be able to shed that one. And I'm not saying Nick has to shed it, hit the running back for a tackle for loss, but you need to shed it or at least get rid of enough of it to get a hand on a jersey, a swipe at a foot, so that the cavalry can come over and help out. By the way, if you're going to go back and look at the play, watch 21. Riley Moss is out of position by a mile as well. He actually goes and stands over a gap where a Broncos defensive lineman is already at. So that's just misalignment by Riley Moss, and who knows if that would have saved the touchdown. But that part was bad for the defense. And then the offense, I'll go back to Bo. 19 plays, 3 points to show for it. That's just not good enough. The safety's just pathetic. The miss to Cortland Sutton on the sideline, and then he had one where he overthrew Sutton. The one on the sideline's a little bit more on Sutton. You just have to catch that 14. It hit you in the arms right here, and you didn't catch the football. A little like one knee dive. You've got to catch that ball. And then the underthrow of Pat Bryant, that's a touchdown. That's a house call. That's 6. They're done after that. If Bo just gets a little bit more under the football, and he was not able to do that. So that is a very, very big problem. I will say this. If they connect on that sideline pass to Cortland Sutton, I think that drive, I mean, they're getting close. They're on the other side of the 50 if that connects. So they're another first down away from really being in, knock it through Lutz field goal range. And if they do that, they don't even come out for a second drive, and this is all for naught. But they didn't, and here we are talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the first preseason game. Now, in closing, I want to say this. I just went over the bad and the ugly, and there's plenty of that to talk about. But don't twist my words. I don't want to see you coming at me on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, talking about you're down on the Broncos. I'm reacting to what I saw on Saturday night. I'm disappointed in Bo Nix. I don't think there's a sophomore slump. I still think it's a sophomore jump. I still have the Broncos winning 11 games. I still think Sean Payton is going to look good as an offensive-minded coach. I'm reacting to what I saw, and there's some questions after what I saw. Broncos are still going to be just fine, but you got to figure out that run game. Bo has to be better than what he was on Saturday night. All right, I always tell you, while you're here, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Check out everything we got going on at the Denver Sports YouTube page. I try to circle back, make friends with you in the comment section, but I want to know, what was your good, your bad, your ugly, and do you feel as disappointed as I do in a guy like Bo Nix? This has been Dover on Denver, and now I'm done.